Welcome to another edition of Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Diver Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean. And today we've got a really good show. Special guest coming on with us today, the one and only, the legendary Toledo Bend man himself, Mr. Harold Allen.
Legendary. You said it. When you think Toledo Bend, first person you think of is Mr. Harold Allen.
If there was a guy I had to wish I could get in a boat with and just spend a day, it'd be with Harold Allen.
Yeah, you're right. That would be an interesting day for sure, depending on which topic you wanted to talk about.
Exactly.
So
I'm sure Harold's full of stories, and we're going to hopefully get a few of those stories today, and right here on Tackle Talk Live. And first of all, before we get Harold on, Kevin's going to tell us a little bit about the boat shop.
The boat shop, Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and full support Garmin dealer, offering the best in electronics and the new Garmin trolling motor. So anything you guys need out there Garmin related, he's your man to see over there at the boat shop. Also has one of the best aluminum boats made, the Sea Art, which is now making a new bass boat with the Yamaha show on it. So stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let the boat shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to shreveportboatshop.com.
And all you outdoorsmen out there, if you're looking for a place to get your fishing tackle, your hunting gear, or maybe grab lunch, 3J's 4-Way Cypress Knee Outdoors, just south of Natchitoches off Highway 1, exit 127 off I-49. I'm telling you, John Abraham and his guys do a great job down there. They got a wide selection of everything you'll need, from bass fishing to crappie to hunting. Hunting season's here, basically. You've got teal season going on right now. You've got deer season cranking up, archery season October 1, with gun season to follow. So if you're looking for a new shotgun, looking for a new rifle, Cypress Knee Outdoors has what you need, and they got plenty of ammo. So check them out. Again, located at Cypress, Louisiana, about probably 1 mile east of I-49, exit 127. Or you can give them a call. If you're looking for anything in particular, give them a call. 318-238-HUNT. That's 318-238-HUNT. Hunt.
And Steve, last but not least, Pride Rods, American made and custom built right there in Montgomery, Texas. The finest rods ever made by Mr. Billy Kistler, constructed with the finest North Fork composite blank by Gary Loomis. They carry all your freshwater and saltwater applications for spinning and casting rods. Pride Rods, they definitely pass the eye test, but they surpass the test of performance even more. Stop by your local tackle store and pick one up, or simply ask about Pride Rods. You can go online at priderods.com or call 832-418-6040 or 936-697-4149.
And on the phone, we have the legendary man himself, Mr. Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, whatever name you want to put in front of him. Harold Allen is with us right now. And Mr. Harold, first of all, we are just tickled to death to have you with us today. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. I don't know if you're guiding today or is going to be guiding, but I know the weather is definitely coming in on us a little bit. But we want to pick your brain today about Toledo Bend a little bit, what's going on. We got some events coming up, as Kevin's going to allude to here in a minute. But we just want to get your opinion as to how it's fishing and what it's looking like for the fall.
Well, boys, appreciate hollering at you guys also. Toledo Bend right now through the summer it's been a little bit tough. I don't know how to explain it. It's just been a little bit tough. You find the fish and they're moving real bad, but things are starting to look up, guys. The lake is down about 3.5 feet, which is good. We've had a north wind for about 7 or 8 days now, so the water has cooled off just a little bit. Yesterday it was down about 81 or so degrees, which is getting even better.
Mm-hmm.
The last several trips I've had, the bite has been shallow, believe it or not. Not a lot of big fish, but just a lot of numbers. So you know how them old bass go. Them old little ones get in there and they start prowling around. Before you know it, old big boys got in there with them. So the stuff that's coming up, though lake, we had a lot of water and it kind of the creeks dirtied up, but then they cleared up again and they got real good shape. Now, it's raining today, it's supposed to rain the next couple of days, so we might get a little more mud or dingy water in the creeks and stuff, but like that, other than that, the main lake is good and dropping.
Now, Mr. Harold, you said you've been catching some a little shallow. Now, what are you? I know shallow to you is 5 to 10 foot of water. So, what exactly are you meaning by shallow?
5 to 10 foot of water.
There you go.
5 to 10 foot of water. That's what I figured.
Answer that question.
That's kind of what I figured. You're not a go real shallow type of guy. So I was kind of wondering. You know,
most
how
time my old skeeter boat won't stop unless it's about 18 to 20, you know.
Yeah.
But guys, it's you know, I'll fish Rayburn a lot shallower than I will this lake, mainly because they got a lot more hay grass, got bushes and stuff like that. But even Rayburn right now, the water's out of the bushes, so Rayburn over there is going to be, you know, I think it's going to be maybe an edge of the hydrilla of what they got left or deeper. But Toledo Bend right now, you know, if this thing keeps falling, I think we're going to have a great fall fishery. Like I said, old fishing's been off for about 2 years now. Not been off, but it's been slower than normal. So we're expecting things to really start cranking up here pretty quick.
Well, Harold, you know, too, the lakes, all of our lakes really are a little higher than they've normally been going in this time of year. I mean, we've seen years where Rayburn and Toledo Bend are 6 foot low at this point. We've had some good summer rains that have kind of kept the lake levels up, had a hurricane come through, dropped some rain on us. But how does that affect like the fall migration that's coming up? And what is the water temperature that triggers that, in your opinion?
Well, you know, I don't think it's a specific degree of water temperature. I just think it's a fact that when it starts dropping pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, to me, that triggers old fish quicker than anything. Now, I think this past summer, like I said, we've kind of struggled with a deeper bite, but I think, again, there because we may have been trying to fish too deep. The lake's a little bit higher than usual, and them old fish, Toledo, you know, still has a tremendous amount of cover. And I mean, there's, you know, if they got shad up there, which there is another factor. We have shad right now from 3 foot of water to 33 foot of water. I mean, we have a tremendous amount of shad. We've had a couple of mild winters, and the lake is just absolutely full of shad. So, you know, that old bass, if he's up there in comfortable water, you know, 8 to 10 foot, and he's got a lot of bait fish around and got a lot of cover, there's no reason for him to leave. And I'm just thinking maybe this past summer we might have missed a lot of our fish because we're out there trying to catch them deep like we usually do. Yeah. You know, being hard-headed and not, you know, not being too damn hard-headed and not trying to do what you're supposed to do.
I understand that. Well, Mr. Harold, you know, it has been tough fishing over there the last couple months. A few times I've been over there and talking to everybody. But, you know, the weights that we've had, there hasn't been many tournaments the last couple months on Toledo, but the ones that have came, and if you go all the way back to July to the Sealy event when he came over, then you go to the Bass Champs in August. I know people aren't catching a lot of fish. Mr. Harold, there's some big ones coming out right now in the last few months anyway.
Absolutely. You know, to me, that's the sign of a great fishery. I mean, even though the fishing may be off, you know, the lake is so big, and if you've got, you know, a good example of what I'm trying to say right now, the lake is so big, and if you got 150 guys fishing it, there's going to be 5 20-pound stringers minimum, and 4 of those 5 are going to be guys fishing different ways, you know, different patterns. Right. And the bigger fish right now, some of the boys, like I said, have got a handle on it, and they're the ones that catch those big ones. You know, we had the Bass Champs 3-fish deal. I mean, sure, the guy had a 10-pounder, but 21 pounds of 3 fish is pretty stout.
Yeah. Well, Harold, how is the lack of vegetation? You know, normally for the last few years we've had housing and 6 Mile just been loaded with grass, but this year there was very little grass anywhere. Did that help the north end?
Let me tell you how that affects him. Them South boys are starting to come north on him.
Well, that's what I mean.
I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So that was really you taking me where I want to go. The north end of the lake, has it been as productive or more productive than the south end this year?
Yeah, I believe it has been. Here, down south, what happens is I think when them fish lose the grass, there is so much deep water down there, they get out and they just roam.
Right.
Whereas up north up here, our waters are not quite as deep. They got a little more color to them, and I think our fish relate to structure, bottom structure and brush structure up here a little more consistently than they're having down south.
Well, Mr. Harold, they got the Louisiana State Bass Nation tournament coming over there this Friday and Saturday. If you had a tip for those guys, I know we got several listening to the show. If you had a tip for those guys, what would that be?
Oh, start early and stay late.
Yeah.
Put your time in, huh?
No, really. In all seriousness, there is going to be, I think, a definite shallow bite. Now, whether you can put together 5 big ones, I don't know, but there are a lot of fish right now that are super shallow. And of course, if you want to fish deep, you're going to catch them deep, but you're just going to have to spend a lot of time looking.
Yeah.
I'm watching guys every day. I'm on the water pretty much every day, and I'm watching guys just spend hours on their electronics looking. But the deep bite, it's been iffy. I mean, you can find them, and they won't bite you. Now, why, I don't know.
Yeah.
The drop shot, everybody that I know of that's catching numbers deep or having a drop shot to catch them.
Yeah.
And that's a deep bite again. Whereas shallow, I think we can catch them. I know they'll bite a plastic worm because I did it the other day, but the crankbait's starting to come into play on that shallow bite. So, oh, Lord, it's going to be a good tournament, guys. I mean, you're going to have guys that's got different strengths, and if they do their homework, I think they'll still catch them.
Harold, one of the things that we've talked to Tommy Martin and some other guys that Daryl Gleason that have fished over there, fish all the time over there, the lack of schooling action on Toledo Bend. I remember 15 years ago, you go over there and, oh my gosh, I mean, late summer, boy, they were good schools. You might even come across a 3-pound school. What has happened to the schooling bite at Toledo Bend?
Well, I witnessed it Saturday. Saturday was a week ago. This past Saturday was a week ago. But instead of coming up and just thrashing the water like they used to in the old days, it actually looked like a couple of little white bass up running shad. But then we set up on them and just caught fish after fish after fish. I can't explain the difference between now and 15 years ago. I really can't. I just knew, though, that right now, if you see one run shad, you better get over there real quick because they are kind of bunched up under them. I found them in 2 places, and we must have caught 20 fish out of one spot without moving the boat. There again, a lot of little fish, but when they start doing that, I mean, it's telling you that you need to be out there shallow.
Yeah. Has there been a good frog bite, good topwater bite?
No, because we don't have the stuff to throw it to.
Right.
We don't have any cover on the bank up north. But, back to last of July, first part of August, we had a little bit of what I call alligator grass in about 2 foot of water or so at the deepest. And if you just did that all day long, yes, sir, you'd get bit 8 to 10 times, 15 times a day, and most of that being real early. But it's just the frog bite has just been the guys I know hadn't been happening.
If you were going to focus on boat docks, what depth of water would you be searching for with your boat docks right now?
My dock fishing happens 2 ways. I do 2 things. I like an area where there's not a lot of cover and the docks are the only thing that's there. And then if that's the case, I don't care what the depth is, anywhere from nothing to out 5, 6, 7, 8 foot of water.
Right.
I like that kind of deal. And then I like a dock where you got deep water right against it. So, depending how far back in the cove it is, depending on whether it's the only bank that's got a dock on it, or whether you got some good deep docks that those fish have access to deep water with. So, I'm not trying to dodge your question. I just I look at the dock and where it's at first before it really cranks me up. But when the water starts falling on Toledo Bend and gets down like it is now, 3.5 foot, a lot of times that's the only shoreline cover they got. And it'll be a pattern. I don't think they can win on the docks, but I think they can catch a good solid limit. Right. Without a doubt.
Right. Mr. Harold, with these weights that we saw late summer here, beginning of fall, in some of these tournaments, and some of the big fish that we're seeing, I'm I'm really being hopeful for the spring, January, February coming up that Toledo Bend is going to get back almost, it's going to start getting back to how it used to be, I believe. With, like you said, with this low water, I really feel like Toledo Bend is going to make a comeback next year. Would you agree?
Yes, sir, because when it drops down, we get a little bit of stuff around the banks, get
Yeah.
a little bit of grass, get some bushes that are starting to green up again. And plus the fact that, to me, it's a cycle, and we've had about 2 years now, maybe 3, something like that, that the bite hadn't really been like it should be. So I think Mother Nature, like you said, it's time for the rebound. We have, due to the bad, not the bad, but due to the off fishing, we haven't had quite the traffic on this lake that you usually do back in the old days.
Right.
So
Right.
That too is going to be a big plus, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Well, Mr. Harold, one last question for him. For a lot of these guys coming over, but not only for Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, our question of the day, and we're going to get into it later on the show, but we want to kind of get your answer to this. So with the rain that we got coming in, and everything changing, how do you approach preparing for a tournament when you have this much rain coming in the week of?
Well, normally it kills the back ends of the creeks. I mean, it kills them. Fish don't leave. To me, they don't leave. They stay there. But it takes them several days to acclimate themselves to the mud and the fresh water.
Right.
Normally, deep fish, sometimes it won't bother them so bad. They may suspend, because if the lake comes up a little bit, they may suspend on you, but they're still catchable. If I was going to come in here, I'd probably, well, unless I'm committed to fishing deep all day, I'd probably look for some mid cold water, not very back in, not out the front, but some stuff that's in between. If there's a mud line, definitely stay ahead of that mud line.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Definitely stay ahead of the mud line. Right now, I think we got fish that are getting ready to move back into the creeks. There's some that's there that's already stayed. I've caught them already. But there again, Mother Nature can throw you a curve. Right now, I wouldn't be fishing dirty water. It's just fresh dirty water, because that's a tough bite to get. Another thing too, guys, if you're air fishing this tournament, that wind's blowing and you got cloud cover, Rayburn and Toledo, an old spinnerbait, I don't care if it is September, you cover enough water, an old spinnerbait down a windy bank, you're going to catch some fish.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Sam Rayburn. Just, is your approach a little different with Rayburn because there's so much shallow grass over there that filters out that water?
Rayburn, definitely.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, on Rayburn, I like to do. As soon as that water starts cooling off, I do love to throw a spook and a pop off over the deeper edge of that grass.
Yeah.
Because the water starts cooling off, them fish start coming up off that bottom, and you can cover a lot of water fast. Rayburn too. The pattern has been great for years and years and years. Is fishing drains, fishing little draws, little subtle changes in that grass line. I don't just go down a mile of solid grass, the same kind of stuff. I like to find a little something different, where maybe you got a little gut runs up into that grass a ways, or you got a long point of it coming out, something like that.
Right, right.
Just try to find a little subtle change. It's way better than just going down a straight bank of grass.
Well, Harold, hey, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming on with us today on Tackle Talk Live, and we'll hopefully a lot of these guys listen to this, Kevin, and they'll put these words of wisdom to use this weekend, because again, there's nobody better than Harold Allen when it comes to Toledo Bend breaking a lake down, breaking a tournament down, and telling you what you need to be doing right now. So, Harold, thank you. We appreciate you, buddy. And
listen, appreciate you guys, and tell all your viewers, man, I wish them the best of luck. It's going to be a grind. I don't think it's going to be easy, so just tell them to just bow up and get ready for a grind.
There you go. Well, you heard it. There it is.
Thank you, Mr. Harold. We appreciate you coming on with us.
Yep.
All right, guys. Later.
Harold Allen, the legendary pro from Toledo Bend, and Sam Rayburn, both. A guy that Kevin, I don't know if anybody's ever said a negative word about Harold Allen. I mean, he's
He's
Mr. Nice Guy. He's just one of those guys that, like I said, if I could spend one day in a boat with one angler, he would be one of my top guys that I'd want to get in a boat with.
Absolutely. And if you're thinking about doing a fishing trip to Toledo Bend, make sure he's one that you consider. I know he's doing a lot of white perch guiding right now, but man, Harold he is fun to be in the boat with. I know if you got to spend all day long in a boat with somebody and fishing, because if things get tough and the bite gets tough, Harold can make it fun. I can promise you that with some stories or whatever he brings
learn
up.
Some stuff.
Yes,
I mean, pay attention to what he's doing because he's one of the best worm fishermen that's ever set the hook. So,
absolutely.
He is an outstanding worm guy. So if you ever get a chance to talk worm fishing with Harold, bring your notepad with you in the pen because take notes on him. Real quick, again, we want to thank the Boat Shop, 3J's 4-Way, and Pride Rods. That was the Pride Rod question of the day that we just went over with Harold Allen. Coming up next, we've got, which has just been announced a couple of weeks ago, still going to go over it again with you, Toyota Series dates for the Southwest Division. It's going to be on 2 on Sam Rayburn, 1 on Lake Texoma, January 28th through the 30th on Rayburn, and then March 25th through the 27th on Texoma, and then back to Rayburn on April 28th and 30th. Kevin, what a great tournament trail that will be in a great 2 lakes. Again, Texoma didn't show out for me last week, but it was a brutal time to fish there, but from what I'm hearing in the spring over there can be absolutely dynamite.
Well, what a great schedule for your Southeast Texas Rayburn guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to be just chomping at the bits for this schedule.
Yeah, if you're from the Arklatex region.
I mean, to have 2 Rayburns out of 3 Toyota Series events, 2 out of the 3 on Rayburn, that's huge for them.
What we got coming up this weekend at Toledo, Kev?
Louisiana Bass Nation. It's 2 separate tournaments. They said it's 2 days, but it's 2 separate tournaments on Friday and Saturday. I know that's another qualifier for them guys. They've already had the spring qualifier, and this is the fall qualifier coming up. So big events for those guys trying to qualify for the state team there.
Is that out of San Miguel?
I really don't know where they're going.
I think it's where it went out of last year because I fished it last year. And but anyway, you can go to Bass Federation Nation. You can figure that out. It'll give you the location for that tournament. The Cowboy Division, BFL, Kevin and I will be at Sam Rayburn this weekend, competing in a 2-day championship, 26th and 27th, which is this weekend. So looking forward to that. And as again, Kevin, weather will dictate a lot for both of us in terms of what we're going to be doing and how we're going to do it.
Yeah, and going back to the Pride Rods question of the day is, how do you handle when you're going to get the amount of rain coming in this week? And I've been talking to guys about this morning, Steve. I haven't been over to Rayburn.
Yeah.
Because I had the opportunity to go last Friday, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go over there and I'm going to figure something out, or if I do the deep deal and all of a sudden we're going to get this rain this week and everything's going to change, I would rather do it my practicing during, or if I know it's going to be, just really changing conditions.
Or the lake's going to be stable.
I want to fish the conditions.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would almost rather go, when it's doing that this week, I would almost rather go no practice and fish the conditions on Saturday.
And I agree with that. Especially in the summertime, you can go, say, a week in advance because conditions don't really change. It's still going to be hot and dry and whatever. But this time of year, you get in September, October, now we got those fronts coming down. Now we got hurricanes coming in. I mean, the weather conditions change dramatically in September, October, and that dictates everything. So you're right. You can waste a lot of time the week before and things totally change, and you got to tank whatever you just had in mind to do.
Or if you get on a good pattern and a good bite, and all of a sudden you've got that in your head that, hey, I can go catch them doing this. Well, all of a sudden conditions change. You're still going to try to make that happen. If you caught some good fish the week before that, you're still going to try to make that happen. And it has bit me in the butt in a lot of tournaments and a lot of times where you have got to go fish the conditions, even on Toledo and Rayburn especially, with the grass that's there. The wind's going to change directions. You might have to go fish a new bank line. So it's you have to go with the conditions with this change in weather.
Right. Real quick, we'll give you the results real quick from the Lake Fork Bob Seeley Big Bass Splash event held out of Lake Fork Marina over there. Danny DeLude of Grand Saline, Texas. Kevin, he won it with an 8.80.
There was a lot of 8-pounders caught. I think top 5 were all an 8-pounder.
Yeah.
I was really, and talking to Lee on the show last week, I was really surprised we didn't have that 10-pounder.
Yeah, I was
being
too.
late for it. Now we had a lot of overs. I know that.
Right.
But I was really surprised we didn't have that 10-pound at double-digit fish win this event.
Yeah, they haven't posted yet the overall results. We'll maybe try to have that for you next week. Second place was Keith White of Decatur, Texas, with an 8.73. And then we had a guy from right here where the show is located, Christopher Gordon from Natchitoches, Louisiana, had an 8.59. And in the last 2 places, Kevin John Lumpkin of Windcrest, Texas, with an 8.47, and Jason Phillips of Risen, Arkansas, with an 8.28.
So, in talking about the Sealy event, so it comes back to Sam Rayburn,
Yep.
9th, 10th, and 11th. On October 9th, 10th, and 11th to Sam Rayburn.
And that's a combo event. Correct. Instead of having this fall shootout, which was a 2-day event. Since his other tournament got canceled early, he's moved it and combined them all into one. $600,000 up for grab for this event, and $171,000 plus in hourly payback. So this is a standard huge blowout.
Yeah, it's
Sealy
not
event.
he does the fall event on Rayburn the last several years.
Right.
It's not that regular fall event.
No.
This is his spring event that he's paying back big money.
This is a full deal.
Since he wasn't able to have it back in April, this is it. He's having it in October, so
Yep.
you definitely need to get over. And I mean, he's paying back a whole lot of money.
Also, Outdoor Outlaws Team Series Championship, which has been very successful. Those guys have done a great job for 2020. They October 3rd and 4th. I assume that's on Rayburn.
Correct. That Saturday, Sunday on Rayburn, going out of Humphrey Pavilion. I'm pretty positive. Then the next weekend, again on Rayburn, the FLW Toyota Series Southwestern Division, October 15th. That'll be the next week after that. That I think, Steve, that the second week of October, I look for Rayburn. excuse me, just to bust loose.
Yeah,
with
I
the
agree.
grass, with the low water, with
Right.
the conditions
Cooling
we've got coming
temperatures,
down.
yeah.
I think it by October 1st, second weekend, it's going to be just all hands on deck.
I just know last week at Texoma, the water temperature when I got there was like 86, 87 degrees. And within 2 days, it was 78 degrees. It dropped almost 10 degrees in 2 days because of that north wind. It's amazing what a north wind will do to the water and cool it down. And as Harold Allen alluded to, we've been having those north winds. And again, we've got them for the next 2 days. Now, Saturday and Sunday, it switches dead out of the south.
Right. But if that hurricane moves over west a little bit and Rayburn gets more rain and gets a lot of rain,
Right.
over the next, and that water comes up, I mean, this weekend, that BFL, I could really see it being one shallow.
Yeah.
I know everybody's going off of the Open last week or week and a half so ago. And although everything was done out deep, brush piles, this, that, and the other, I could really see this BFL being played out shallow.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And also coming up, and I'm not sure, I don't have the Bass Champs circuit on the championship. I think, is that the second week of October? We'll look it up, and we'll have that for you again next week. We may have somebody on to talk about Red River and how's it going. But Red River will be where the championship will be for the Bass Champs team tournament trail. Yeah. They're coming back to Red River. It'll be the third or fourth time they've been here.
I think those guys are going to be surprised, Steve. It's going to fish a little better than
agree.
what they think. It's going to be better than the past years that they've brought the championship there. I know it has been just horrible fishing. It's going to be a lot better this time. Red River has the fish is getting bigger.
Number one, there's been no pressure.
It's been no pressure at all.
Yeah.
I know the last 2 or 3 months they have really been catching some nice fish out of there.
Yeah, and again, those of you that are coming to that event that are watching our show, be careful, okay? A lot of people complain about the Red River and the damage you can do to your boat, and yes, you can. But if you're not, it's just like any other body of water for me. If I don't know where I'm at, I'm going to idle. And if you know where you're at or you don't know where you're at, don't throttle down on it, because you can hit stuff on Red River, but just like you can any other body of water. Yeah. But know the area, idle through an area. I always idle through an area first before I ever run it, just to make sure I know what's going on and what's under the water. So, but Red River should be stable. The river fishing itself could be really good. Backwaters where it's always been one, but you guys, as a guy that fishes the river pretty often, don't be afraid to hit that main river, because if you find the right stretch, you can get well real quick.
And come here with an open mind. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot better fishing than you're expecting. I really feel that way, unless something happens between now and then. I know the fishing has been a lot better, so this year the weights will definitely be up than what they have been the years past.
Yep. That's exactly right. Well, okay, what else we got?
One more shout out to our sponsors, the Boat Shop up in Shreveport, Louisiana. Full support Garmin dealer, Yamaha show. If you need any work on any of those units in your motor, make sure and give them guys up there a call. 3J's four-way just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, here on the interstate. So for all you guys coming up from the Bass Nation event this weekend that's coming up taking the Natchitoches exit going to Toledo Bend, stop by the Cypress Flora exit right there off the interstate. Pick up all your tackle you need, all your V&M baits you need. Grab you a quick bite to eat. Got a great deli inside there. And also Pride Rods. Those guys, it's located right there in southeast Texas. They make a great rod, a really good cranking rod, might I add. If it's something you might want to look into for all you crankers out there.
And also, if you'd like to sponsor the show, again, we're really starting to kick in and getting better and bigger and better each and every week, each and every month especially. We're getting up to 4,000 views, sometimes a little more per episode. So, again, we thank you guys that are doing it, that are sharing our show. We really appreciate you doing that. That just helps us reach out to more and more people. So we just can't say thank you enough for that. Continue to do that for us, and hopefully this thing will continue to grow. But if you are interested in sponsoring the show, just message Kevin through our Facebook page, Tackle Talk Live. Just send us a message. Hey, I'm interested. We'll send you a packet. It'll have everything broken down for you as to what you get with that package. But we'd love to have you. So if you're interested, let us know.
Absolutely.
All right.
I appreciate Mr. Harold coming on the show today. Great
job.
insight on what's going on in Toledo Bend.
Yep.
I really look forward to Toledo the fall and the spring. I think it's going to get a lot better.
Yep. And a lot of you, thank you for coming up to me at Sam Rayburn or Kevin. We'll both be at Sam Rayburn this weekend. Say hello, stop by, say, hey, we watched the show. Let us know. We like that feedback. And if you got some ideas or some topics you want us to bring on, or maybe a guest, let us know who those are as well. But again, we'll be at Sam Rayburn. Hopefully we'll see you there. And again, if you want to continue to catch fish and be a great bass angler, you got to continue to watch Tackle Talk Live.